Hi everyone, it's Ashley, or What Is Up My Sleeve, and this is my 13 months post-op lap band to VSG update. I'm going to put my stats in below with surgery weight, dates, stuff like that. But today I weighed in at 211.6 pounds, which is just basically still on track. I think it's about I can't remember, 0.6 from last week or something along those lines. And when I saw it, I was pretty discouraged because yesterday I had seen 210 and I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going to get down to like 209 and finally be down there and just like keep going. And I didn't. And it's become really discouraging. This week I really was on it. I've gotten over a gallon of water every day. I've eaten less than 1,000 calories every day. And so I don't know if anybody else does this. I'm sure you do. I was basically like, fuck it. I did it. I did it all this week. I did it. And still didn't change. This hair is really bothering me. And I was like, whatever I do, I just maintain. I don't understand. And so I recollected my thoughts, calmed it down a little bit, and logged my food into my FitnessPal and got on with my day. I took a few things off of Sarah Losing It For Me 42's video the other day. There's a few things I took out of it, right? So she was talking about one thing, imposter syndrome. I am not saying I have this, but I completely understood what she was talking about, specifically when it went to her job. I started working at 16, and I had just 16-year-old jobs. I worked at a restaurant, and I dreaded every single day going there. I'm a good worker. I did exactly what I needed to do. I never called in, but I always thought that if the boss spoke to me, it was because he was going to fire me any second of the day. And I went to college and got older and got a job at a daycare center, and before I had my kids. And every single day I would hope that my boss wasn't sitting at the front desk so I could just sign in and sneak into my classroom and talk to her, because I just always felt that any single second they were like, no, you just shouldn't be here. I totally understand at least that part of imposter syndrome. I do sometimes feel like it in my personal life. Example, the other day at church, I was sitting there and I was talking to one of my friends, and this couple we know, we've been going to the church for a few years now. The wife came over and just started talking to me and asking me about my glass. I had new glasses and stuff like that. And I was talking to her, but in my head I was thinking, she just came over to me. Like, she actually wants to talk to me. She likes me. Like, I've had many conversations with her. And I know she's a nice person, and I know that she likes me, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, she wanted to talk to me, and she came over and talked. Like, that must seem really weird to people, but like, that's what happened. And this was even before Sarah had talked about this type of thing. And when she was talking, it was like a little light bulb in my head that went off. So like I said, I'm not saying I have this, but I can definitely sympathize with some of the thinking that's going on in their heads. Another thing that she talked about was she hasn't been perfect but things that she's choosing are much better than options that she used to choose, right? And all of a sudden, this thought came into my head. Before we have surgery, we know we are not perfect with our eating. We know it. And that's what got us to the weight that we were. But as soon as we have surgery, we think, I should be perfect all the time. I shouldn't have those. I need to be doing every single thing I can do all the time. And I don't know what comes that, like how that becomes a thing. And I feel really bad for all of us that we think that we're not being good people or good bariatric patients because we're not perfect every single meal, every single snack. And so we don't have to be perfect. And, you can live, hopefully there's another day for a lot of us. And we have many, many, many days to be on point. And those days that we're not on point, they don't have to ruin the days that we are. So, and lastly, she had talked about not accepting, but being okay with if she stalls here. And I've been stalled for ages, right? But I like the way I look right now, other than the stomach skin that I have. Still a lot of fat in there, not gonna lie. It's not just loose skin, but that's the only part of my body that I wouldn't care to live with for the rest of my life. So honestly, I could live at this weight for the rest of my life and be happy with it. At this point, I may very well. But I kind of like the way I look right now. I obviously would like to lose the rest of the weight that I have planned to lose. But if this sounds awful, but if I ever get down there and then regain to here, I'd still be okay with it. 210, 211 is much better than 310. So, yeah. Those are what I took out of her video. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Things that I wanted to talk about. Sorry, my notes are way down here. Recently, for my birthday, so it was December time, I got a squatty potty. And I feel like it's really helped. My husband was like, "Why are you buying this?" And I was like, "I'm having issues going to the bathroom. And if this helps, I'm buying it." I had gotten an Amazon gift card, and so it was kind of I got the deluxe wooden model, so it only cost me out of pocket $5. And I really like it, and I would recommend it. I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but the last few days I've been really focusing on my water, and I have had to go 5 times a day. I think all the water is flushing out my intestines and flushing out my system. So I don't know about that. I am going to be going to some of the events for the New York City meet and greet in April. Sorry, I had to look at that. And at the end of April, I don't know what the events are. All I know, they haven't posted anything about it yet. But because I live on Long Island, I'll definitely be going into the city and partaking in some of those. So hopefully some of you are there and we can meet. Lastly, last night I heard on the radio that obesity is going to be officially declared a disease. And I laughed out loud. She was comparing this, sorry, that was weird. She was comparing this to what did she call it? Hypertension. And she's so people who have, when somebody says I have hypertension, I'm oh, that's, but Just to be like, hi, I'm Ashley. I have obesity. What? Like it's not clear by looking at me that I have obesity. So, I am in no way weighing in on whether it is a disease or not a disease or, whatever your thoughts are on it. But it just made me chuckle. I just have a diagnosis of obesity. It just seemed kind of, I don't know, silly. But if you have different opinions, those are your opinions. I don't think I have anything else to say. Oh, no, I have one last thing to say. If you follow me on Instagram, you have seen the other day I got on the treadmill for the first time in ages, like months, because I just prefer classes. But my Monday class has now been canceled. So they're not having that class anymore. I still wanted to go to the gym on Mondays. And so I went on the treadmill. And I got on the treadmill and I walked for about 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, when it gets to 5 minutes, I'm going to jog, slowly increase my, for a couple minutes. And I was like, I'll try and get to 2 minutes. And I was about 30 seconds in and I wasn't out of breath. Now that might seem like, well, of course you're not out of breath. It's only 30 seconds in. But honestly, I'm not a runner. So usually 30 seconds in, I would have been out of breath. So I got to 2 minutes and I was like, I can keep going. Maybe we'll try another minute and we'll do another minute. And I eventually got up to 10 minutes of not stopping, pure jogging. And as I said on my Instagram story, I could have cried. If it would have been socially acceptable for me to burst into tears on the treadmill, I probably would have. I was so proud of myself. I am at a stage in my fitness that I could just get on the treadmill and run for 10 minutes. Never in my life have I been at that level. And I weigh 211 pounds, but I can still go and jog for 10 minutes. And that aspect of my life, that fitness level, makes the number on the scale just bullshit. I don't even care. I can go to a workout class and not be like, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it through the whole class. Of course, I still have, if I go to a new class, I'm still like, I've never done this before. But I don't have the fear that I'm not going to be able to do it. And the other day, my instructor was like, okay, if you could do this or you could do this. And she said, Ashley, you're doing the harder one. And I thought to myself, later I'm going to tell her, you don't ever have to tell me to do the harder one, because I'm going to at least try the harder one. Always. If I can't do it, then I'll do the easier one. But I'm going to try that harder version. So don't, I didn't want to be like, I wasn't going to be mean to her. I would just be like, don't worry about me. I'm going to do it. You don't have to remind me because I'm on it. So, yeah, I still am like, can't even believe it. And it was, I have not accepted anybody from my outside, like real life, onto my weight loss Instagram, except for my sister. And I did that Instagram story and she sent me a message like, way to go, that was really great. And then the next day she sent me, she video called me and she's like, I just want to say it again, like, you're doing so good. And that means so much to me. My sister is 5 years older than me. She's always been much more athletic than me and always skinnier. But like, she gave me a bunch of clothes and I'm fitting into her clothes now. Like, that hasn't happened since like she was 15 and I was like 7, legitimately. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was always a big kid. So, it meant so much to me that my sister is like so proud. And like, I really doubted myself. Like, I doubted that I could run more than 2 minutes. And I said to her, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't doubt myself. So, okay, that's really it. I think I'm out of focus now. Okay, so that's really it. That was 13 months. Not sure if I'm going to get here in 2 weeks, but we'll see. This is really annoying. Maybe, there we go. Maybe if I break my stall, I'll come back. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it is what is up my sleeve, all one word. And I hope everyone has a really great week. Bye.